When people hear the word officer, they often imagine someone sitting far from danger, giving orders from a safe location. But for a Russian lieutenant, reality is very different. The lieutenant is usually the first commissioned officer soldiers encounter directly on the battlefield. He stands between the enlisted ranks and the higher command structure. Unlike a sergeant who focuses heavily on training and discipline, the lieutenant carries the responsibility of leadership and decision-making. He is expected to lead by example, earn the trust of his soldiers, and ensure missions are completed successfully. Many people think a lieutenant simply gives orders, but the truth is far more complicated. In fact, one mistake from a lieutenant can affect dozens of lives at once. Every lieutenant begins as someone who once followed instructions from others. But after receiving military education and officer training, everything changes. Suddenly he is no longer responsible only for himself. Now he must guide an entire group of soldiers. Orders from higher commanders flow through him before reaching the troops. This means he must understand not only what to do but also why it needs to be done. Soldiers look to him for direction, confidence, and leadership. The transition can be difficult because leadership is a skill that cannot be learned from books alone. Yet the biggest challenge of all begins when a lieutenant receives responsibility for an entire platoon. A Russian lieutenant often commands a platoon consisting of dozens of soldiers. That means he must know where they are, what they are doing, and whether they are prepared for their mission. Every operation requires planning, organization, and coordination. He must monitor supplies, communication, transportation, and troop readiness. If one soldier is missing, equipment fails, or information is incorrect, the mission could be placed at risk. Unlike ordinary soldiers who focus on their individual tasks, the lieutenant must see the bigger picture. He becomes responsible for the performance of the entire unit. And once the mission begins, the pressure increases dramatically. When soldiers move into the field, the lieutenant becomes the central figure of leadership. He directs movements, coordinates objectives, and ensures the mission stays on track. Whether it's a patrol, reconnaissance operation, defensive position, or combat mission, the lieutenant must constantly analyze changing conditions. He receives information from superiors while simultaneously managing the actions of his soldiers. Every decision can influence the outcome of the operation. In dangerous environments, hesitation can be costly. That's why lieutenants are trained to remain calm under pressure. But no training can fully prepare someone for the moment when things start going wrong. No military plan survives perfectly once reality intervenes. Communication may fail. Unexpected threats may appear. Weather conditions can change suddenly. During these moments, the lieutenant must think quickly and adapt. His ability to make decisions under pressure becomes critical. Soldiers depend on his judgment because confusion can spread rapidly in stressful situations. A good lieutenant remains focused, evaluates the situation, and chooses the best course of action available. Sometimes he must make difficult choices with limited information. Those decisions may determine not only the success of the mission but also the safety of everyone involved. And this responsibility creates enormous pressure. One of the most important relationships in the military is the partnership between a lieutenant and a sergeant. While the lieutenant provides leadership and mission planning, the sergeant contributes practical experience and direct supervision of soldiers. Together they form the backbone of a platoon. Successful units often depend on strong cooperation between these two ranks. A lieutenant who ignores his sergeant may miss valuable information. Likewise, a sergeant who lacks trust in his lieutenant can create problems within the unit. Their teamwork allows military operations to function smoothly. But even with support from experienced sergeants, the final responsibility often falls on one person. Being a lieutenant means carrying responsibility for dozens of lives every day. Every order, movement, and decision can have consequences. Soldiers expect leadership. Commanders expect results. Mistakes can affect morale, mission success, and operational effectiveness. This pressure follows lieutenants everywhere they go. Unlike lower-ranking soldiers, they cannot focus solely on their own duties. They must think ahead, anticipate problems, and prepare solutions before issues arise. Leadership sounds exciting from the outside, but it often comes with difficult choices and constant accountability. And this is exactly why the lieutenant is considered one of the most challenging ranks in the military. The lieutenant represents the beginning of true military leadership. He transforms orders into action, leads soldiers in the field, coordinates missions, and carries responsibility that many people never see. While generals command armies and colonels oversee large formations, every military leader begins somewhere. For many officers, that journey starts as a lieutenant. It is the rank where leadership is tested, confidence is built, and future commanders are shaped. But if a lieutenant commands a platoon, imagine the authority and responsibility of a captain. And that's exactly what we'll uncover in the next episode.